All right, let's dive into a world that's fascinated people for centuries. Alchemy and the occult arts. You sent in some really interesting material for this deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, excerpts from Herbert Silber's Hidden Symbolism of Alchemy and the Occult Arts, and parts of Alchemy Rediscovered and Restored. Even different translations of the Emerald Tablet of Hermes. I'm already hooked.
Well, that's a fantastic collection. Really spans different eras and viewpoints, which is part of what makes alchemy so compelling. It's almost like they're whispering secrets across time.
Exactly, and that's what we're doing in this deep dive, right? We're trying to piece together those whispers, see what they reveal about the alchemist's ultimate quest, transformation.
Mm-hmm.
So we're better to start than with Silver's parable.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah, it's like a dream, but like
You don't know.
dipped in cryptic imagery. What do you think?
Absolutely. It's full of like sudden shifts, vanishing objects, recurring symbols, walls, gardens, roses
Oh
galore.
yeah, the rose.
And Silber, like, being a psychoanalyst, he believed these weren't just random images, like they were keys to unlocking hidden desires, anxieties.
Okay, so it's like deciphering a secret code, but instead of finding, a treasure map, we're mapping the human psyche.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What did Silber see hiding beneath the surface of this parable?
Well, he saw echoes of some pretty profound psychological forces,
Mhm.
particularly the Oedipus complex, with all its messy contradictions.
Oh, well,
Yeah. So imagine like the wall representing the barrier between the wanderer and his forbidden longing for his mother,
okay.
and those roses,
Yeah.
their beauty and thorns, could symbolize the allure and danger of that desire.
Whoa, suddenly those roses seem a lot more intense. So are you saying alchemy was less about, turning lead into gold
Yeah.
and more about transforming the self?
You're getting it.
All right.
To understand that transformation, though, I think we need to explore the historical context a little bit.
Okay.
And your other source, Alchemy Rediscovered and Restored, does just that.
Yeah.
Really dives into the lives of some legendary figures.
Oh, yeah.
Hermes Trismegistus, Nicholas Flamel, Basil Valentine, Paracelsus.
Yeah, these guys are practically, rock stars.
Yeah,
In the world of alchemy,
that's right.
what's the most important thing to grasp about them?
It's tempting to get caught up in the whole lead into gold narrative,
Right.
but their pursuit went far beyond that. I mean, they were searching for the prima materia,
Mm.
the fundamental substance of creation. This wasn't just about riches, it was about understanding the very building blocks of existence.
Ambitious, to say the least.
It was.
And it's why alchemy was seen as a path to, both material and spiritual perfection.
Exactly. Think of Nicholas Flamel, the Parisian scrivener who supposedly achieved the alchemist's dream. His story embodies the enduring allure of this art.
Mm-hmm.
True or not, it highlights how deeply alchemy impacted Western culture.
It's like a real-life fairy tale,
Mm.
an ancient book, The Key to Transmutation, carvings on his tombstone hinting at hidden secrets. It's no wonder his story has captivated people for centuries.
Oh, absolutely.
But weren't there also alchemists who focused on more practical applications like, medicine, things like that?
Absolutely. Paracelsus, for example. I mean, he revolutionized medicine,
Mhm.
right? By using mineral-based treatments.
Mhm.
And he believed in the interconnectedness of the microcosm and macrocosm. As above, so below. It's a
Culture.
principle that's core to alchemy.
And that phrase, as above, so below,
Mm.
is front and center in the Emerald Tablet of Hermes, which, as you know, is our next stop on this deep dive. I'm ready to decode its secrets.
Good.
You mentioned different translations. What kind of variations are we talking about? Like, how different are they?
Oh, some are remarkably different.
Mm.
Like one 12th century Latin translation claims the tablet was found in a cave received from Hermes himself.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Isaac Newton, that Isaac Newton offers a translation emphasizing the Philosopher's Stone's role in transmutation.
Newton dabbled in alchemy.
I did.
It just goes to show how influential this field was, even for, minds we typically associate with, like modern science.
Right.
Okay, back to the tablet itself.
Mm.
What does that famous phrase, as above, so below, really mean in the context of alchemy?
It encapsulates this idea that everything is interconnected and mirrors each other across different scales.
Hmm.
So the processes of transformation we see in nature
Yeah.
reflect the processes of spiritual growth within us. It's like nature is a giant mirror reflecting our inner journeys.
It's a really powerful image. But you also mentioned the Emerald Tablet is loaded with symbolism.
Hmm.
What other symbols should we be paying attention to as we decode this ancient text?
Well, you'll notice the Emerald Tablet emphasizes the three alchemical principles: correspondence, transmutation, and the unity of all things. Each of these principles is like a lens for understanding the tablet's deeper meaning and how it relates to the alchemist's pursuit of transformation.
I'm starting to feel like an alchemist myself, deciphering these ancient codes.
Hmm.
So let's break down these principles.
Yeah.
What are they all about, and how do they connect to the specific language of the Emerald Tablet?
Well, the principle of correspondence, for example, is woven throughout the tablet's language with that famous line, "as above, so below," as its most concise expression.
Mm-hmm.
What's fascinating is how this principle encourages us to see connections between, seemingly disparate realms, just as the alchemists sought to find those connections between the material and the spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just scratching the surface here. There's so much more to uncover.
You've definitely piqued my curiosity.
Yeah.
I can't wait to delve deeper into the Emerald Tablet and see what other secrets it holds.
Let's do it.
Lead the way. I'm ready to unlock them.
The tablet's layers of meaning are waiting to be explored, and its wisdom might surprise you.
All right, let's go. Okay, so we've talked about these big ideas of alchemy, transformation, prima materia, the interconnectedness of everything. But I'm ready to like get my hands a little dirty. What can Alchemy Rediscovered and Restored tell us about how alchemists actually put these principles into practice?
That's where the source really shines. It pulls back the curtain on the experimental side of alchemy. Imagine stepping into an alchemist's workshop,
Yeah.
surrounded by bubbling concoctions, glowing furnaces, and cryptic symbols etched into every surface.
Okay, you've officially transported me. But what were they actually doing in these workshops? Like, what kind of experiments were they conducting?
Well, they were working with all sorts of materials, from metals and minerals to plants and even animal products.
Hmm.
And their techniques, they were pioneers
Mhm.
of distillation, calcination, sublimation, all these processes aimed at purifying and transforming substances to unlock their hidden potential.
It sounds like a blend of early chemistry
Yeah.
and spiritual exploration, almost like they were trying to decode the very essence of creation through these experiments.
Exactly. Take the idea of the elixir of life, this legendary substance said to prolong life, heal diseases, and even grant immortality. It's one of the most captivating concepts in alchemy.
Immortality. Did anyone ever actually claim to achieve that?
Legends abound. But separating fact from fiction in alchemy is always a challenge. Some alchemists, they believed the elixir was a literal substance, like a potion for physical mortality.
Mm.
Others saw it as a metaphor for spiritual enlightenment, transcending the limitations of the physical body.
So it's like a physical and spiritual fountain of youth rolled into one. No wonder people were obsessed with it. But how did they actually go about, creating it? Was there like a secret alchemical recipe?
Well, their methods were often shrouded in secrecy, passed down through whispered traditions and cryptic texts.
Right.
But from what we can gather, mercury, sulfur, and salt
Mm.
played a central role. These were the three essential principles, the fundamental building blocks of all matter, according to alchemical philosophy.
Wait, those sound familiar.
Yeah.
They're mentioned in the Emerald Tablet, right?
You got it.
Oh,
The tablet's language is steeped in this symbolic system.
okay.
And it's not just coincidence.
Hmm.
Those three ingredients weren't just, random substances.
Uh-huh.
They were deeply symbolic.
Okay.
Mercury, for example, represented the spirit, volatile and transformative.
Hmm.
Sulfur was the soul, passionate and fiery.
Mm-hmm.
And salt embodied the body, the stable grounding element.
So by combining these elements in the right way, they believe they could create a substance that mirrored the perfect harmony of creation itself.
Precisely. It's It's a powerful concept that underscores that idea of transmutation.
Yeah.
Imagine like purifying and refining these elements,
Yeah.
transmuting them into a higher form
Mm.
that embodies the divine perfection of the cosmos.
Hmm.
This is what the elixir of life represented, the pinnacle of alchemical transformation.
That's interesting how much emphasis they placed on personal transformation alongside the material kind. It wasn't just about tinkering in a lab. It was about, cultivating a specific inner state of being.
That's a key insight.
Hmm.
Alchemy was a holistic pursuit. They believed the outer world reflected the inner world, and vice versa.
Right.
To truly transform matter, you had to transform yourself.
It's like that idea, as within, so without. But all this talk of transformation, it makes me wonder, what about the ethical side of alchemy? Could this knowledge be misused?
That's an important consideration. Like any powerful tool, alchemy has a double edge.
Hmm.
Throughout history, some individuals sought to exploit alchemical knowledge for personal gain, power, even to cause harm.
Mhm.
It's a sobering reminder that great knowledge comes with great responsibility.
It makes you think about the alchemists' emphasis on secrecy and discretion. It wasn't just about keeping their methods hidden from rivals.
Yeah.
It was about safeguarding this knowledge from those who might abuse it.
Exactly. True alchemical knowledge wasn't something to be shared lightly. It was a sacred trust passed down through generations,
Mhm.
entrusted only to those deemed worthy and responsible.
I'm starting to see why alchemy has this air of mystery and exclusivity.
Mm.
Okay, so we've talked about the elixir of life, the ethical considerations, but what about the more practical applications of alchemy? What else can we learn from alchemy rediscovered and restored?
The book highlights how these alchemical principles were applied in medicine, agriculture, even metallurgy.
Hmm.
Paracelsus, for instance, he believed alchemical processes could enhance the healing properties of natural substances. He
Hmm.
was a pioneer in the use of mineral-based medicines, paving the way for modern pharmacology.
So he was kind of like a proto-pharmacist, but with a deeper like alchemical understanding of the substances he was working with.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
The book also discusses how alchemists applied their knowledge to agriculture, experimenting with techniques to improve, soil fertility and crop yields. They were, in a sense, ancient agricultural scientists,
Right.
driven by a desire to understand and work with the natural world.
It's amazing how far-reaching their influence was,
Yeah.
touching on fields we wouldn't typically associate with alchemy.
It speaks to their incredible curiosity and drive to unlock the secrets of the natural world. And while some of their methods might seem, fantastical to us today,
Mhm.
their insights and discoveries laid the groundwork for many scientific advancements that we take for granted.
It makes me think about what they would make of our world today, with all our technological advancements. Do you think they'd be impressed or horrified?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It's hard to say for sure. They'd probably be fascinated by our technological prowess, but perhaps also dismayed by how we've, separated ourselves from nature.
Hmm.
They might see our focus on material progress as a distraction from the deeper spiritual transformation they valued so highly.
It's like we've become fixated on the lead into gold
Mm.
aspect,
Yeah.
forgetting about the inner alchemy, the purification of the soul.
That's a profound observation, and it's a reminder that true progress involves both material and spiritual advancement. The alchemists, they understood this, and their teachings offer, valuable insights for achieving a more balanced and harmonious relationship
Okay.
with ourselves and the
Wow.
world around us.
I'm starting to see how relevant alchemy still is today.
Hmm.
It's not just about, ancient rituals and cryptic symbols.
Right.
It's a framework for understanding our place in the universe
Right.
and our potential for growth and transformation.
Exactly. It's about recognizing the interconnectedness of all things, the
Mhm.
cyclical nature of life and death,
Mm.
and the transformative power of the human spirit.
Mhm.
And it reminds us that the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
Speaking of journeys, you mentioned alchemy's connection to practices like yoga and meditation.
Mm.
That surprised me. I didn't expect to find Eastern spirituality in the mix.
Well, alchemy is truly interdisciplinary, drawing inspiration from diverse sources. The alchemists were ultimate knowledge seekers, always open to new ideas and perspectives.
So they were like intellectual magpies collecting shiny bits of wisdom from wherever they could find them.
Exactly. They
That's
recognize that practices like yoga and meditation offered, valuable insights into the human body and mind.
hmm
They were fascinated by concepts like prana, the vital life force, seeing
Wow.
it as a kind of alchemical energy that could be, manipulated through breathing exercises and meditation.
So they were integrating Eastern and Western approaches
Hmm.
to create a holistic system of transformation.
Precisely. They understood that true wisdom transcends, cultural and geographical boundaries,
hmm
and that open-mindedness is essential for anyone, seeking to understand alchemy.
Right.
It requires, intellectual rigor and spiritual humility,
Yeah.
a willingness to question assumptions and embrace new perspectives.
Speaking of questioning assumptions, I'm
Mm.
I'm curious about the alchemists' views on gender.
Hmm.
They associated mercury and sulfur with masculine and feminine principles. Did they consider these principles equally important?
That's a great question.
Yes.
The answer, it reflects the evolving views on gender throughout history.
hmm
Some texts emphasize the masculine principle as the active transformative force,
hmm
while the feminine is seen as passive and receptive. This reflects the patriarchal bias of those times.
Hmm.
But in other texts, the feminine principle is given, equal or even greater importance,
Oh wow.
seen as the source of wisdom, intuition, and creativity.
So it's a mixed bag, like
Yeah.
like so much else in alchemy. Yeah.
Exact. Some alchemists even believed the ultimate goal was to achieve androgyny, a perfect union of masculine and feminine principles,
Yes.
symbolized by the rebus, a hermaphroditic figure representing the harmonious integration of opposites.
It's fascinating how they grappled with these concepts of identity and duality.
It is.
But there's one key element we haven't explored yet. The
Yeah.
role of symbolism in alchemy. You mentioned it earlier, but I'm ready to really dive in.
Symbolism. It's the language of alchemy, the key to unlocking its hidden meanings, ready to decode some alchemical secrets.
Absolutely. Lead the way.
Mhm.
Okay, you mentioned symbolism is key to understanding alchemy.
If
It's like a
it's
secret language, right?
Mhm.
Where do we even begin to decode it all?
Well, let's start with some of the most iconic alchemical symbols.
Okay.
Take the Ouroboros, for instance.
Oh yeah.
That image of a serpent or dragon biting its own tail.
Oh, I've seen that one before.
Mm.
But what does it actually mean in the context of alchemy?
The Ouroboros is a powerful symbol of cyclical processes.
Mhm.
The idea that creation is an eternal dance of life, death, and rebirth.
Mm.
And the alchemists, they saw this cycle reflected everywhere in nature and within their own work as well.
It's like that saying, "What goes around comes around,"
Hmm.
but on a cosmic scale.
Exactly. The alchemists, they loved using animals as symbols.
Right.
Each representing different stages of the alchemical process. Think of the raven, often linked to the nigredo, the initial shadowy stage.
hmm
Then there's the swan, representing the albedo, a stage of purification and enlightenment.
And what about the peacock with all its vibrant colors?
Hmm.
It seems a little, too flashy for a bunch of secretive alchemists. So
Not at all. The peacock, with its iridescent plumage, is a perfect symbol for the rubedo, the final stage of the alchemical work. It represents the culmination of the transformation, the emergence of something beautiful and radiant.
so each animal is like a guidepost along the alchemical path, pointing to the different stages of transformation.
You got it. This symbolic language was a way for them to convey complex ideas in a concise and evocative way. Remember, secrecy was crucial in alchemy.
Right.
They used symbols to protect their knowledge from those they considered, unworthy or unprepared.
It's like they were leaving clues for future generations to decipher
Hmm.
a trail of symbolic breadcrumbs leading to alchemical enlightenment.
That's a beautiful way to put it, and
Yeah.
it highlights a crucial aspect of alchemical symbolism, the idea of multiple interpretations.
Hmm.
There's no one-size-fits-all meaning.
Right.
It's open to a range of perspectives, encouraging us to engage with the symbols actively and bring our own understanding to the table.
So it's not just about like rote memorization. It's about engaging with the symbols on a personal level
Mm.
and seeing what resonates with you.
Precisely. The alchemists, they believed true wisdom wasn't something passively received,
Yep.
but rather something actively created
Yeah.
through dialogue, debate, and the sharing of diverse
Like
perspectives.
they were inviting us to join the conversation,
Hmm.
to become alchemists in our own right.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, what would you say are the key takeaways we can glean from all this? What
Right.
what does exploring alchemy, offer us, even if we're not, brewing potions in our basement?
Alchemy reminds us that everything is interconnected.
Hmm.
We're part of a vast web of relationships, both seen and unseen.
Hmm.
It also highlights the power of transformation,
Hmm.
not just in the material world, but within ourselves as well.
Right.
And lastly, it encourages us to see symbolism as a language that can unlock, deeper layers of meaning in the world around us and within ourselves.
Those are some powerful ideas to carry with us. It's
Hmm.
it's almost like alchemy offers a roadmap for navigating the complexities of life, encouraging us to, embrace change and seek deeper meaning.
You nailed it.
Mhm.
And while we may not be, searching for the philosopher's stone in the literal sense,
Right.
we can still, apply alchemical principles to our lives. We can, cultivate our inner landscapes,
Mhm.
refine our thoughts and emotions,
Mhm.
and strive to live in greater harmony with ourselves and the universe.
So the true alchemical laboratory is within each of us,
It is.
and the quest for transformation is an ongoing journey, not a destination.
Mm-hmm.
This deep dive has been an incredible journey, eye-opening, thought-provoking, and even a little bit mind-bending at times.
It can be.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being our guide through this fascinating world.
The pleasure was all mine. And remember, this is just the beginning. There's a whole universe of alchemical texts, symbols, and practices
Hmm.
waiting to be explored. So keep seeking, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep transforming.
And who knows? Maybe we'll even stumble upon that philosopher's stone along the way. Thanks for joining us on this alchemical adventure, and until next time, keep diving deep.